everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. My name's Alicia and I'm a sous chef with a sweet tooth. If you enjoy this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button down there. Today we are going to be making a delicious dessert that actually was inspired by my pastry chef at work. I really want some of this at work, so I need to make some at home. A Keto Reese's peanut butter cup ice cream pie. So let's get started. That dessert at work is calling my name every night, and I'm trying not to cheat at all. I am doing pretty well, so I want to keep on that track, and this is definitely helping me. I can come home after work and, indulge in a little sweet treat instead of eating all of it at work that's not keto. We're going to be starting with just a simple vanilla ice cream recipe. I'm not going to show you in detail the steps because it's one I've done multiple times, and the recipe is going to be below. If you want to check out any of my other ice cream videos, I'll link some of those above. So I got some heavy cream and unsweetened cashew milk heating on the stove. I got a little bit of gelatin that I bloomed in some of that cream. I'm going to add in a half cup of allulose, and then I'm going to just temper some egg, add some vanilla, and get it refrigerating. Okay, mixture simmered. I'm going to temper my egg yolks, pour it back in, add my vanilla, and strain. Okay, while that is chilling in the refrigerator, we got to get on to making what makes this a pie. Pie tin, which I actually borrowed from work, because I think I have one, but it's really big and glass, and I wanted just a smaller one that would fit in my freezer. And then you need some kind of crust for the bottom. I had one more pack of these high-key brownie cookies. They're like chocolate cookies that make really good crumbs. So I got those beat up in here. If you want to see how this is done, go to my 8 desserts 1 pan video. I'll link that up there. We use this as a cheesecake crust too, and it worked perfectly. So you can use anything you want for this. You can just use straight almond flour and sweeten it a little bit. You can use ground up nuts, peanuts, almonds, macadamia nuts, anything you'd like. Then I ground up 2.5 ounces of pili nuts, which is one of the best keto nuts you can get. It's less than a gram of carbs for an ounce of these nuts. So I'm gonna use that and this, and then a little bit of butter to hold it all together. I'm gonna add in my pili nuts. I'm gonna mix these together a little bit with my hands. Making crust is always easiest with your hands, I found. That's gonna be really good. I was debating, I was gonna use macadamia nuts, but I forgot that I had these pili nuts in my refrigerator. So I got 2 tablespoons of melted butter here. I may need a little bit more. I may need less. I'm gonna start with just a little swirl around. That actually might be enough. Oh yeah, that's gonna work good. You can also add like peanut butter to this. You can add some melted chocolate if you want. You can do a lot of different things with this. This is very kind of whatever you have on hand and want to add to it. Just work it all the way around, get it nice and patted in. These kind of things are things at work that we don't even really use a recipe for. It's just things that we kind of know how to do, the technique, and we just kind of make it up as we go. Feels about even. There's our pie crust for our pie. We're gonna throw that in the freezer. And the pili nuts, I just ground in my Ninja blender and it worked perfectly, but don't go too far because you will have butter. They are very full of fat. So popping this in the freezer. Now on to the Reese's cup portion of our Keto Reese's peanut butter cup ice cream pie. It's a mouthful. I got just some little muffin cups here that I'm gonna use. We're gonna chop them all up anyways. We actually get chunks of Reese's cups at work in big bags and bulk bags. And oh my God, it has been so hard to not eat those every time they are out on the counter. I want to eat them so bad. So I'm going to make some Reese's cups that are keto. So I would suggest using all milk chocolate because that's what Reese's cups are. I technically don't have all milk chocolate in here. I have some dark. I'm waiting on a shipment of my Lily's chocolate to get here, but I'm going to do the macros below for if it's just straight milk chocolate, but we might not even use all this either. This is a whole bag of chocolate. And then for our peanut butter filling, I'm doing half the amount because you got 2 layers of chocolate, 1 layer of peanut butter, half cup of natural peanut butter, and we're going to sweeten it with some powdered monk fruit sweetener. I'm just gonna do all this in the microwave just to make it easier. So I have a nice Pyrex measuring cup that I'm gonna use so I can pour real easy into the molds. I always heat at 50% power, 30-second intervals. I sometimes stop it if I think it's getting too hot, and I'll give it a stir. So we're gonna get all this chocolate melted. Okay, so that took just over a minute, and you can see there are still some chunks in there, but I don't take it past there because the residual heat from the melted will melt those bigger chunks. I'm gonna add in just a tablespoon of coconut oil. This just makes it flow easier. Then we're gonna fill our molds with the chocolate and throw it in the refrigerator to set up real quick while we get our peanut butter layer ready to go. So we're just gonna pour some in each one of these. You can also just do this in a rectangle pan if you got it. So I just put some in the bottom of each one. I'm just gonna give it a little tap, shake it out. So we're gonna pop this in the freezer to set up. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar to this and give it a little whisk. I have a rough recipe written down, but I don't know how much we're gonna use of everything. I did not wanna make 2 of these. That would be crazy in my freezer to have 2 pies. So I'm trying this here first, but like I said, she made it at work and it's not really a hard thing to do. Then I'm gonna add some coconut oil to this too. There we go. Now that's a little bit pourable for our next layer. We're gonna divide that into the 6 Reese's cups and then put it back in the freezer. Okay, the chocolate is solid enough to go into the next layer. I'm gonna throw these back in the freezer for a few seconds just to solidify a little bit and then top it with more chocolate. Okay, these are just about set. I mic'd my chocolate for another 10 seconds or so. I am going to top each one of these. Instead of rushing, I'm gonna let these freeze overnight. That way we just don't have a problem chopping them up into nice pieces. They don't get all mushy on us. And I got one more thing to show you before we churn our ice cream. And you can certainly make them look like a Reese's cup by using a muffin tin with a paper cup liner. And you just put a tiny bit in the bottom and brush up the sides to get the ridges in the sides. Freeze it, then fill it with the peanut butter, and then top it with a thin layer of the chocolate. Then you get an actual Reese's cup. So I'm gonna pop these in the freezer, like I said, overnight to make sure they're nice and solid so that we'll get nice chunks of Reese's cup to put into our pie. And the last part I'm going to be showing you is a fudge to put on the bottom of our pie crust. It'll keep the crust from getting too soggy from the ice cream itself. And I mentioned a fudge and what it was in another video. I'll link that up there. It was my mint chocolate chip fudge ripple ice cream. I have 4 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips here. I'm going to do a 1/2 cup of heavy cream. I'm just going to shoot this in the microwave, 50% power, until it starts steaming a little bit. Took about a minute, 15 seconds. I'm gonna pour in my chocolate chips. I'm just gonna let those sit for a second, let them get melted. And because semi-sweet chocolate chips from Lily's aren't super sweet, I always add a little bit of liquid stevia. Just sweeten it up a little bit. If you like your bitter chocolate, feel free to skip that step. You can also skip this step altogether. It's just a little added bonus to our Reese's cup pie. I got my pie shell here, nice and frozen. Just start whisking this together. It'll look like it won't come together, but it will. This will harden like a thick chocolate layer on the bottom of our pie. So I'm gonna pour this to the bottom. Probably not gonna use all of it. I'm gonna save some to drizzle on top of the pie. Take my offset spatula and just spread it out. It's gonna harden quick because the pie bottom is frozen. I'm gonna pop this back in the freezer. Well, everything is chilling in the freezer and my ice cream base is in the refrigerator. I put some plastic wrap down on top of the custard so I won't get a skin, because I'm not gonna try to churn that until tomorrow morning, because I've tried churning ice cream when it was almost 90 in my house and it didn't work because I think the bowl just got too melted too quickly and it didn't have time to actually freeze the ice cream. It was actually in my gelato recipe. I'll link that up there if you hadn't seen that. I had to actually take it out, refreeze the bowl for 24 hours and try it again. There's a tip: if you don't have AC, you might want to wait for a little bit cooler of an hour to churn your ice cream. It's really hot now because it's 5 o'clock and my house has been heating up all day. I'll be back in the morning to churn, add our Reese's cups, add our fudge drizzle, and we'll be tasting our Reese's peanut butter cup ice cream pie. So it's time to churn our ice cream and assemble our pie. Now you can obviously do this with chocolate ice cream too. I'll link my chocolate ice cream with peanut butter swirl up here. You can just follow that chocolate ice cream recipe if you want chocolate ice cream for this. Turn it on. While that's churning, we are gonna get our Reese's cups out of the freezer and give them a good chop. And then we're gonna keep them in the fridge until we need them so that they don't melt or anything while the ice cream is churning. So because I did them in these silicone molds, they should be super easy to pop out. And they are. Like I said, they don't gotta be perfect because we're chopping them up anyways. So they're not the perfect Reese's cup. They're gonna taste delicious. Ooh, that one looks nice. You're not gonna want huge chunks because otherwise you're not gonna be able to eat your pie as easily. Ooh. Nice, these look so good. Gotta work quick with this. Pop these back in the freezer. I'll be back in a few. Our ice cream's almost ready. We're gonna assemble our pie. Okay, our ice cream is just about done churning, so I'm gonna start getting all our stuff ready. And so here is our pie crust. If you ever see this white on your chocolate, that doesn't mean it's bad or anything. That's just the fat separating from the chocolate. It's not tempered correctly, which tempering is just a big pain in the butt. We learned it in college, and you gotta bring it up to a certain temperature, cool it down to a certain temperature, bring it back up to a temperature to make it so that that doesn't happen. But when you're melting chocolate at home, it can happen. Okay, we're gonna take some of this ice cream. I might keep it churning while we're doing the other layers too. Take a spoonful or two, layer in your first layer of ice cream. I'm just gonna let it keep churning while we go so that it doesn't cool down too, or well, warm up too much, I guess. I've got my pieces of Reese's cup. I'm gonna smush it into that layer. Gotta work quick here because everything's gonna be melty. There you go. Drizzle on some ganache. Gonna be delicious. Okay. Stop this guy again. Get some more ice cream. Okay. Another layer. I don't think we're gonna need all these Reese's cups. You make this kind of like a dome layer on top. You can assemble this however you want. I'm just giving you how I would do it. Starting to get melty, so let's get this last little bit on. A little decoration on top. I like all the little shavings. Looks nice. This is a good replacement if you're having like a summer party. You know, people always just grab half gallons of ice cream. Be like, well, I got something I can bring, you know, and then you can eat it too. There you go. We are gonna pop this into the freezer now. It needs to get completely solid, but that looks amazing. It's gonna taste so good. Once that pie has frozen for a couple of hours, I will be back to give it a slice. So it's been about 3 hours since we put that pie in the freezer, and it has been a stressful morning to say the least. I'm not sure when you're going to be seeing this video. Usually you'd be seeing it a couple days after I shoot it on a Saturday, but we just bought a house, my boyfriend and I, and we have to get this house, which is mine, ready to sell. So it's going to be a very stressful couple of months, and I'm not sure exactly how much I'm going to be able to shoot or test recipes to figure out videos to shoot. So it may be a little while before I get another video out. I hope you guys will bear with me. The kitchen that I'm moving into is awesome, and I'm gonna have a lot more storage space, so you won't see all this clutter back here. Hopefully, I will be putting out a video here or there. I'll probably be going live here or there. I have a lot of stuff for my garden I gotta prepare and stuff like that. So if you haven't already, you can hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon, and you'll be notified when my videos do come online. And I hope that you guys will all just stick around and see what's to come in the future. I definitely have lots of plans for videos. Let's get on to cutting this pie. So the easiest way to cut an ice cream pie, we always have a hot knife and water at work to cut through things. So I got just my blender here filled with hot water and my chef's knife. So if you cut this into 12 pieces, it's about 4.5 net carbs because I took out 2 of the Reese's cups. So I minus the recipe a little bit in the description box below. So you're only going to make 4 big Reese's cups instead of 6 of them because we did not need that many. If you cut this into 8, it'll be a little over 7 grams of net carbs. I'm going to cut it into 12. So you just cut it in half, then you cut it in half again, and then you cut it into thirds. So this is still going to be a pretty big slice of ice cream pie. You might need to heat up the knife some more. It's always good to have hot water handy. Even cutting regular pies and cakes, it always comes out cleaner. I mean, that's just a pastry thing we do. Now, you know what's funny? I don't have a pie server. So we're just going to have to use the knife. Gotta get myself a plate too. Didn't get one of those. I don't have a spoon either. Never prepared for this. So we're going to try this knife here to get a nice slice. Could have froze a little bit longer. But there is our ice cream pie. Oh, it looks good. Our crust came out perfectly. You see? No pie crust left. So that worked out perfect. Need to get myself a fork or a spoon. I don't know. What would you eat ice cream pie with? I say if it's solid enough, you use a fork. Time to take a bite. Oh, see? The bottom crust looks awesome. Man, is that good. The Reese's cups are so good. And because I actually use Himalayan sea salt pili nuts. Get a little bit of salt in the crust, which really pairs well with the Reese's cups. Can't believe I have all this pie to eat. If you don't want to like buy an ice cream cake for a birthday, or you know, they don't even have keto ice cream cakes, you can bring an ice cream pie to your party and everybody will enjoy it, believe me. So I hope you guys enjoy this video whenever you end up seeing it. And I will hopefully be back relatively soon. Hopefully only like 2-3 weeks and I'll be able to get another video out. But just bear with me and I can't wait to show you my new kitchen. Bye guys.